His negligence in regards to Obama's lies is apparent in the confidence which the president tells these lies. He tells them on TV like crazy, and nobody's calling him out on them. There's one claim in particular that stood out with Obama. He triumphantly declared, go look it up. Look at this.
My plan to get the industry on its feet when it was in real trouble was not to start writing checks. It was President Bush that wrote the first checks. I disagree with that. I said these companies need to go through a managed bankruptcy, and in that process they can get government help and government guarantees, but they need to go through bankruptcy to get rid of excess cost and the debt burden that they'd built up. And fortunately,
Governor Romney,
the president
that's not what you said.
Fortunately, the president, you can take a look
Governor
at the op-ed.
Romney, you did not say that you would provide governor help.
I said that we would provide guarantees, and that was what was able to allow these companies to go through bankruptcy, to come out of bankruptcy. Under no circumstances would I do anything other than to help this industry get on its feet. And the idea that has been suggested that I would liquidate the industry, of course not. Of course not.
Let's check the record.
That's the height of silliness. I have never said I would liquidate the industry.
Governor,
I want to keep the industry
Detroit,
going and thriving.
This is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, look at what the president just said. And he said it with such confidence. He knows who he's going after right now. He is only going after the dummy vote. And he is so arrogant, and he has the press so in his back pocket that he knows he can say anything. Anything. He can look you in the eye and say, I'm the whitest white man you've ever seen. Mr. President, you're black. How dare you? I'm not here in front of you right now. You're not seeing me. Mr. President, I'm watching you on TV. How dare you? This is the kind of stuff. He thinks he's a Jedi master. It is dangerous how arrogant this guy is with his lies. Here is the op-ed. This is the op-ed that Mitt Romney wrote in 2008. This is what he's saying. You never said that. Mitt Romney says, go look at the op-ed. It was in the New York Times. President Obama knows exactly what he said. This is not something that's difficult to look up. President Obama knows if he just plants enough seeds of doubt in enough people, he can win. It is important and imperative that you point out to your friends exactly what this president did. This is what Mitt Romney wrote. He said, if General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler get the bailout their chiefs of executives asked for yesterday, you can kiss the American automotive industry goodbye. He's not saying liquidate it. He's saying you got to save it. The same thing that I was saying as well. You cannot give it all of this government money and get the government in bed, or they'll start making cars that explode. What does he say? Pull it out, the last couple of lines. Detroit needs a turnaround, not a check. And the federal government, do we have the rest? The federal government should provide guarantees for post-bankruptcy financing and assure car buyers that their warranties are not at risk. Understand it? He said, I'm not going to give them a bailout. I will help them. I will guarantee that everything's going to be okay. If they should fail, we'll guarantee it. But it's a loan. It confirms that everything Romney said is absolutely true. Obama blatantly lied. He knew it. Obama also said that Romney in 2008 said America should ask Pakistan for permission before going in to kill bin Laden. Not true. Romney said last night, keep our options quiet. That's what he said, keep our options quiet. Keep our options quiet. Not ask for permission. That's our options. We're in military procedures now. We're at war, for the love of Pete. Obama claimed Romney said Russia was the biggest geopolitical threat facing America. Wrong again. He called them a foe and said they are the greatest threat to the world. The greatest threat to the world that it faces is a nuclear Iran. President Obama knows all of this. And if he doesn't, then he's the most sloppy, incompetent president of all time. Finally, Obama said that he had never gone on the apology tour. Some fact checkers gave Obama a pass on this one because he never said the word apology, and he never had T-shirts printed that said tour on it either. What does an apology tour mean? That you go around the rest of the world and you're like, oh, America's been so bad. Romney explained it very well last night.
Mr. President, the reason I call it an apology tour is because you went to the Middle East and you flew to Egypt and to Saudi Arabia and to Turkey and Iraq. And by the way, you skipped Israel, our closest friend in the region. But you went to the other nations. And by the way, they noticed that you skipped Israel. And then in those nations, and on Arabic TV, you said that America had been dismissive and derisive. You said that on occasion, America had dictated to other nations. Mr. President, America has not dictated to other nations. We have freed other nations from dictators.
Okay. Then he goes in and says, oh my gosh, well, this whole apology tour, that's nonsense. That is the truth. But the press will not do their job. They will not expose this president, so it's up to you to find the truth and make the choice. We are working on stuff. I just had meetings all day today about the things that we are going to do at the Blaze and the things that we have in the future. But quite honestly, we're a few years away from a few things. Technology isn't catching up, and we just have a lot to do. And we've got an election in 2 weeks from today. With firm reliance on the protection of divine providence. This election really will come down to one issue. The economy, and whom do you trust to guide us through? Here are the facts on the economy, and it's pretty easy to, do we have that? We have all of the, and it's not coming down after all that rehearsal. Well, there's some facts up there, but all right. We'll show you the facts in a minute. But the thing about this administration is you don't need a big sign with a bunch of facts on it. You go to the grocery store. You go to the gas station. You go try to send your kid to college. You go try to sell your house. Those are the facts. They're all there. You go to see how many of your neighbors are unemployed. All the debates are over. And now the American people have to decide, who do they trust? I think it may have been divine providence. People are tired of listening to people blame each other. They want an adult, and that's what you had last night in Mitt Romney. And I want to show you, I want you to show these to your undecided friends, a couple of clips here. And you ask your friends, which candidate is presidential? Which one is a decent man? Is one showing honor? Is one respectful? Is one of them arrogant? And ask about both the president and the vice president and the two challengers. First, here are the incumbents.
When Tunisians began to protest it, this nation, me, my administration, stood with them earlier than just about any other country. Governor Romney, I'm glad that you recognize that al-Qaeda is a threat. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because, you know, the Cold War's been over for 20 years.
The idea, if you heard that little soliloquy on 47%, you think he just made a mistake, then I think you're, I think I got a bridge to sell you.
You know, I don't look at my pension. It's not as big as yours, so it doesn't take as long. Governor Romney's going to have a busy first day because he's also going to repeal Obamacare, which will not be very popular among Democrats as you're sitting down with them. Well, Governor, we also have fewer horses and bayonets because the nature of our military's changed. We have these things called aircraft carriers where planes land on them. We have these ships that go underwater, nuclear submarines.
It's unbelievable. Condescending. Now the challengers.
Attacking me is not talking about how we're going to deal with the challenges that exist in the Middle East and take advantage of the opportunity there and stem the tide of this violence. Again, attacking me is not talking about an agenda for getting more trade and opening up more jobs in this country.
Well, Mr. Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress to make up the lost ground, but I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
We want a peaceful planet. We want people to be able to enjoy their lives and know they're going to have a bright and prosperous future and not be at war. That's our purpose.
I care about 100% of the American people. I want 100% of the American people to have a bright and prosperous future. I believe we have a responsibility to care for one another. I served as a missionary for my church. served as a pastor in my congregation for about 10 years. I've sat across the table from people who were out of work and worked with them to try and find new work or to help them through tough times.
We're a nation that believes that we're all children of the same God, and we care for those that have difficulties, those that are elderly and have problems and challenges, those that are disabled. We care for them. This nation is the hope of the earth. We've been blessed by having a nation that's free and prosperous thanks to the contributions of the greatest generation. They've held a torch for the world to see, the torch of freedom and hope and opportunity. Now it's our turn
to
take that torch.
The credit rating of the United States of America will be downgraded.
Is there a risk that the United States could lose its AAA credit rating, yes or no?
No risk of that.
The U.S. has lost its top-notch AAA credit rating from Standard & Poor's. It is the first debt downgrade in U.S. history.
Warren Buffett, who knows a thing or two about good investments, said if there were a quadruple A rating, I'd give the United States that. I and most of the world's investors agree.
For the second time in 9 months, America's credit rating has been lowered, this time by Egan-Jones.
This sounded crazy when I first told you this. Now it's like reading a newspaper.